Headed to Medellin Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. It is February 11th, 2022, and this is the latest news from Medellin Colombia and Colombia as a whole. Follow along.
You're watching DC-born Rob, erasing borders. And now, the news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as DC-born Rob, DC Rob. Rob, I answer to them all. Thank you guys for watching. If you ever get any benefit out of my videos, do me a favor and go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like, of course, that helps the YouTube algorithm. For everybody who takes a second and go down and hit like, cool man said, you all right. That's right, this is for you. So I have quite a few stories for you today. Not gonna all be positive. I'm sorry. I'm just reporting the news and replaying it to you, okay? Some of these things you guys need to know, or at least I think you need to know before you travel. So let's just jump into the first few stories. Okay, this first story is from Minuto Treinta. It's entitled, "They Found a Dead Canadian Inside a Hotel in Laureles." Okay, it says, on the morning of Thursday, February 10th, a 48-year-old Canadian citizen was found dead inside a hotel room in the Laureles neighborhood in Medellin. According to the preliminary information, the Canadian citizen apparently had been drinking intoxicating beverages since yesterday, and on Thursday morning, he entered the hotel in an apparent state of intoxication. Later, hotel employees hear a loud bang inside the room where the Canadian was staying. So they go up to check out what was happening and find the man lying on the floor. Then his death is confirmed. It is noteworthy that the man did not show signs of violence. So it is presumed that he aspired to the way his body was found. However, death remained to be established. Okay, my next story is from El Colombiano. It's entitled, "Canadian Citizen Was Found Dead in a Medellin Hotel." Sometimes, again, you know, I try to get at least two different versions of these stories. So, because sometimes they say some things in one article and miss them in the other, and vice versa. Okay, it says a new death of a foreign citizen was registered in Medellin. For now, little is known, but the case is already being investigated. Until now, it is known that he was a Canadian citizen and that he spent the last hours of his life in a hotel in Laureles, where he was found dead. Although he's still impossible to know if it's a homicide. It is known that the man was 48 years old and that he had stayed at the hotel just a few hours before his death. According to the story reconstructed by Sijin, the hotel receptionist was the one who found the body. The woman received a shift at 6 in the afternoon, and upon arrival, she was told that the guests were all in their rooms. Indeed, the receptionist said the Canadian left the room several times, apparently to buy liquor. Around 4 in the morning, the receptionist was startled by hearing a noise. She went to the room where the Canadian was found, and she found him lying on the floor. And the woman called for help immediately, but the man was already dead. The police report indicated that the body did not show signs of violence, so the hypothesis of the death was due to bronchial aspiration gained strength. Although it cannot be confirmed that the case is a homicide, similar cases have occurred in the city in the past. That is to say, dead foreign citizens have appeared in strange circumstances. My next story is from Blue Radio. It's entitled, "An Australian Citizen is Found Dead in St. Augustine, Wheeler." Okay, the 49-year-old man was found dead inside his home located in the New Zealand sidewalk. Okay, it says, "Shock has been caused in Wheeler by the death of Michael Christopher Blue, an Australian nationality who was found dead inside his residence in the El Masito farm located in the New Zealand village of St. Augustine. The foreigner, who had lived in this municipality in the south of Wheeler for 4 years, he had 2 gunshot wounds and 3 with a knife. We were informed that the community of the New Zealand village, 25 minutes from the urban area of St. Augustine, about the discovery of the lifeless body inside the house. The victim, an Australian national, was identified as Michael Christopher Blue, 49 years old, who shows stab wounds and other signs of violence, says Colonel Gustavo Adolfo Camargo Romero, commander of the Wheeler Police Department. 2 possible hypotheses are handled by the authorities about the murder of this Australian registered in St. Augustine, a fight due to intolerance due to a liquor intake and robbery. Okay, the next story is from El Colombiano. It says they denounced that a woman kicked a baby during a flight because her crying bothered her. That's right. An older lady kicked a baby on a plane because the baby was crying. It says through a thread on Twitter, they denounced a case of a child that was abused, generated rejection and indignation. The incident occurred on a flight that covered from Bogota to Barcelona route, where a 1-year-old baby was beaten by an older woman on February 6th. According to the complaint, the woman kicked the little boy in the face and broke his lip. Everything according to this internet user because she could not bear the crying of the baby. The baby cries and squirms for hours, so the neighbor down the hall suggested the mom put the baby on a crawl. The baby climbs down and finally stretches, calms down and begins to crawl. A few rows back, an old lady, if you can call it that, sticks her leg out and kicks the baby in her face, breaking her lip, she reads on the Twitter thread. At this moment, the minor's mother, apparently in shock after having seen the brutal aggression, talks to the flight attendants, and one of them complains to the aggressor, to which she replies that the little boy has her desperate crying, and she is an older woman and cannot bear the situation, she adds. Crazy. Now they're kicking babies on these planes. Okay, my next one is from Minuto 30 again. This one is entitled, They Gave a Young Woman and Her Cousin Scopolamine in Medellin. They Stole Everything. This one's a little bit different than normal, but check this story out. It says the young woman says she woke up completely naked on some sheets and her unconscious cousin. Okay, and again, this is just as of a couple days ago or yesterday. It says, in the past few hours, it was learned that a 26-year-old girl and her cousin were victims of criminals on the 70 sector in Medellin because apparently they were given scopolamine, taken to an apartment and robbed. Their belongings, in addition, they investigate if there was sexual abuse. Okay, it also says that, and it is on that, according to the statements of this young woman, that Noticias Caracol and all stated that in the bakery on 70 sector, which is 70, went to the bathroom and ran into a girl who was almost her age. And from there, she lost consciousness. I only had gaps in what had happened until I reached my cousin's apartment, he said. And this is what she said. You know, again, these he's and she's, they get them mixed up in the Spanish publications. The young woman also stated that this woman accompanied them to her cousin's apartment. There, she served them whiskey. And from there to, I don't remember anything at all, she said. Likewise, the young woman revealed in the aforementioned medium that she woke up completely naked in the room and on some sheets. When she went to look for her cousin, she says that he was completely unconscious on the bed. The young woman affirms that they stole her cell phones, computers. They had stolen absolutely everything from her, she said. The young woman asked the authorities to speed up the investigation of the case in order to find the whereabouts of those responsible. So remember, they interchange he and she. You may know they'll show two pictures of two girls and it still says he and she or he and he. It's I don't get it. But anyway, my next story is from Tech Explorer, but you can find this one anyway. Most of you guys already know this. Spirit to merge with Frontier, creating major low-cost U.S. airline. I'm sure there'll be a lot of jokes on this one. I can think of some myself. Did the cheap just get cheaper? I mean, how low can you go? You go from the worst to worser. I just created a new word. Okay, this one says, though, ultra low-cost carriers Frontier and Spirit have announced their intention. Budget U.S. carriers Spirit Airlines and Frontier Airlines announced Monday that they will merge to create a competitive low-cost airline and aims to test the dominance of their rivals. Okay, like I said, the cheap just got cheaper. The cash and stock deal is valued at $6.6 billion and is expected to close in the second half of this year, pending approval from U.S. antitrust regulators. Executives of the deal will challenge the big four U.S. carriers, American, United, Delta, and Southwest, by expanding low-fare options to service the United States and the Caribbean and Latin America. If you are headed to Medellin, Colombia, make sure you stop by one of Sweet Georgia Cafe locations, or either both. One's in Laureles, one is in Poblado. Make sure you tell the owner, Rob, that DC Rob sent you there. Also, if you need airport pickups or drop-offs, call my man Andres. His information will be below, and he's my guy for tours. This one is from Minuto 30 again. This one is entitled, Medellin Closes Gaps and Fulfills a Dream of Thousands of Homes. Every child in the city will have a computer. That is right. If there are 3 children in a household, there will be 3 children to receive computers, it says. Okay. February 10th, 2022, a historic day in Medellin, because starting today and over the next few months, 150,000 computers will be delivered to all children in the city so that they can study and get closer to their dreams. In the La Macarena Events Center, the mayor of the city, Daniel Quintero, began to carry out one of his banner proposals with which he was elected mayor, and began the delivery of 5,500 computers for children and young people who may be used to continue their study and train in what chooses their dream. Okay, these kits are being delivered to students from Comuna Uno, Popular, and it will be carried out gradually in the 16 comunas and 5 townships, so that no child in Medellin is left without a vital tool to study, get a job, and build their dreams. Okay, so I try to wrap things up with not as bad news, but still news nonetheless that you need to know.
So I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you go down and hit subscribe. And definitely like. It helps that YouTube algorithm. You know what I'm talking about? See what I'm saying?
We have a YouTube channel, like it.
Please comment and share if you liked the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.